Well, that's the weird part about relationships. I just do want to say this, that like at one point you're like, okay, I put in enough time into this relationship to try to like fix things and change things. I am done. You're like, nope, okay, I can do another year. I can do another month. But it's
I'm like that meme. It's like, I'm only giving you 972 chances.
Yes. And I'm like the queen of forgiving and second chances. And I'm like, I just always want to see the best in people. And you got to love yourself more than you love them sometimes.
It's true. Welcome back to 30, Flirty, and Surviving, a show about being 30, flirty, and surviving. I'm Kelsie.
I'm Tanisha.
And I'm Tracy.
Welcome.
Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. You can find us on Instagram if you just want to kind of follow our lives. And then you can tune in on iHeart, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube.
Ta-da!
I did it!
At 30, Flirty, Surviving podcast.
30 Surviving podcast.
Okay.
All right, we are going to get right down to it today because we have a very exciting episode.
Juicy.
Woo. Buckle up, strap in, ladies and germs. It's the moment you've all been waiting for.
Yep.
So the last episode or two, we realized that we were being a little bit unfair to everybody by alluding to bits and pieces of ex-boyfriends, past men in our lives, and no one was up to speed. We were using some code names, sharing like stories, and we don't want anyone confused, so we are going to dive in to
Buckle up.
our relationship history with the ghosts of boyfriend past.
This is gonna get real juicy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna keep it short and sweet. Give you a quick rundown of their code name. You know, how long we dated, how we met, a little bit about the relationship, just so just some top line information to kind of like get everybody on the same page. And then we're gonna dive into a little bit of a Q&A session. So, who wants to be the brave soul to kick us off first?
Noses.
Oh, it's you.
You're included in that.
That was so convenient.
Go for it, honey.
Okay. I'm kind of nervous.
Are we giving background to these code names as well?
No, we are not gonna. Yeah,
I think it's for the best we don't.
We realized that we signed up for this, not them. So to protect their anonymity as much as possible, we are using these code names. They do have meaning. If you know, you know. But
if you're listening, ex-boyfriends, you know.
You know who you are.
Yes.
That we're not going to explain why the code names are their code names, to just protect them a little bit.
That's smart.
Whether they deserve it or not.
So you're less petty than I am. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
Kelsey's like, because I was ready.
I'm outing this person. He lives here.
Here's his address, his cell phone number, social security.
No, if I knew that, trust me, I'd have all this money.
I wouldn't be working. So
Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
Don't avoid it.
Yeah.
It's your turn. Let's hear it, sister.
right in.
All right.
I can't wait.
Oh my God, don't say that.
Sorry.
Okay. No. So I have been in 2 serious relationships. My first boyfriend I met in college. He will be referred to as Nemo for all intents and purposes of this show. We met is actually pretty funny. It's just like in true Tracy fashion. We were at a party in college. I was playing Beirut with one of my friends against these 2 guys, and we were running the table, okay? Like, we were winning. And Nemo slides on up, and he's like, "You're not going to give these girls a gentleman's rack?" And the guys are like, "Oh yeah, man, you're right, like totally." And starts like picking up the cup. I'm like, "Don't you dare put your hands on that cup." And I turn to him, I'm like, "I don't know who you think you are, but I do not need any courtesy. I don't need any favors. We are gonna win this game fair and square."
Sounds about right.
And
She was born this way, folks.
I was like, "Oh, why you decided to involve yourself in this situation?" But he kind of like smirked at me. He was like, "Okay, hot shot, like have it your way," and walked away. And naturally, I was like, "That's him. I want him. We're gonna date. He's he is the one. So we played a little game of cat and mouse for a couple months and then ultimately started dating. We dated for 7 years.
I forget it was that long.
I do too. I think that's the longest relationship anybody in our friend group has had.
Minus
Besides
the married ladies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah. It was a really long time. Granted, we were young. I mean, there was ups and downs. We were a little on and off at times, but
For that age.
for we referred to it last week. Like everyone was out exploring and having fun and dating multiple people. I was like wifed up at 18, which was nuts. I was young and in love.
Yeah. Very in love.
But yeah, for the most part, I mean, we had a really great relationship. Definitely a lot of unnecessary fights when we were in school. I mean, like he knew how to push my buttons. I was a full-on certifiable psycho. He was no saint by any means, but I definitely was a little bit of the crazy girlfriend. So we would push each other's buttons and kind of go back and forth. But ultimately, when we graduated school, the last couple of years of relationship, we were super solid. Can't remember a time that we did fight. We just, we had been young before and we had a lot of growing up to do.
Yeah.
But I think that when everything kind of settled down, the more we grew up, we realized we kind of just grew apart. The person you are at 18 and the person you are at 25 are drastically different human beings.
Yeah, especially in college.
Yeah, we had been together so long and there was so much love and respect for one another, but like there were things I wanted to do that he did not. Mm-hmm. And I think we had to think about like whether or not we were really compatible anymore. And so I did decide to break up with him so that I could kind of go off and do some things of my own. And that was really hard for me. I felt awful. It was heartbreaking for me to break up with him because I didn't want to make him sad or cause him any pain. And like to this day, it makes me sad because I still don't feel like he forgives me because I don't think he like understands what I needed to do. So it makes me sad. But looking back on that relationship, like I think of it so fondly. It was so special. It was my first love. We had a really, really overall great experience. And like to this day, I would take a bullet for him. I think the world of him.
It's the hardest scenario, but the best case scenario. Yeah. And I feel like if you stayed, it wouldn't have served your relationship. You need to do those things for yourself in order to build your relationship with your significant other, And if you don't want it, well, I got to go get it. So,
yeah, I think we're both in a really great place now. So it was all meant to be, but I'm very grateful that it was what it was,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
My second relationship, I wish I could say the same, but I cannot.
Fuck no.
My second boyfriend, if
how do I go about this one?
How do I put this lightly? If he was on fire, I wouldn't piss on him to save his life.
Same. He's the one sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I would add gasoline, personally.
I mean, he was the one I had in mind when I was talking about, like, taking someone out for you guys.
Yeah.
Because,
So,
I don't like him.
He will be referred to as Voldemort, which I referenced last week. But I can say, like, that was not a code name we created for this podcast. That was something that you guys started calling him years ago because you literally just did not want to say his name anymore. Yep. So I think that really tells you pretty much everything you need to know.
Yep.
But we dated for about a year and a half. I mean, started off really like hot and heavy, like head over heels. Everything happened so quickly. I thought everything was fantastic. And then I think just as quickly as things started, I realized that it was too good to be true. Mm-hmm. He just didn't really turn out to be the person that I thought he was. And it was a really difficult relationship, like emotionally taxing on me. Spoiler alert, I'm not going to get into all the details right now because we are going to have a episode down the road where we dive into specifically unhealthy or toxic relationships. So I will share some of that stuff down the road. But I think like Reader's Digest version, manipulative, unfaithful.
Like you say, I think you just said you didn't know his personality. It's because he had multiple personalities.
Yeah, straight up sociopath.
Multiple. He likes his things in multiplication. Yeah. He likes his things.
Yep. Okay.
He likes his things
likes a lot of his things.
Well, I wanted to say in twos, but I don't know.
I think
Like
that would
fives?
be conservative. I
Yeah.
think 2 is
So
conservative.
we'll put it that way.
One is never enough.
But honestly, no regrets. I think that sometimes you have to have those hard relationships. I think you come out stronger. I think I've learned a lot about myself. I think it's built my character. So I wouldn't change anything. Just kind of is what it is, but happy to be out of that and in a better place now.
Yeah, I call them lessons.
Yeah.
That's what I don't call them exes. They're lessons. No matter what. No matter if it was good or bad, I feel like it's lessons.
Yeah.
you
I
So
agree.
do you want to go next?
You can go next.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've had more than 2 relationships, but there are definitely 2 that stand out in my mind for being miserable. We're calling my first one Bill Buckner.
Why are you only saying the miserable ones?
I don't know. Because the other ones aren't like, they were fine. It's
Yeah.
just that it didn't work out. There's
Yeah.
like nothing behind
Nothing
them.
exciting.
Yeah.
Nothing behind them. Perfectly fine relationships. And for the most part, I think with those ones, I kind of broke it off because I realized it wasn't like nothing
Yeah.
was there.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was going in one direction, similar to what you were saying, and they were going in the other. So Bill Buckner, and I'm not telling them why, right? Okay. Oh God, I don't know how to explain Bill Buckner.
Still gets me every time.
I know.
No, I know.
That was Tracy's bright idea. I had AAA
I
in
had to
mind.
explain to her who Bill Buckner was, but if you know who he is, just put some.
Just Google it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that he was probably my most my first mentally tolling relationship that I ever had, and it was through college. And if anybody knows me, like, I'm not saying I'm an angel, but I'm a very honest and open person, and if I love you like hard. So that's how I was feeling with him, and I just got like completely manipulated by this kid. He was actually younger than me. I was in my senior year of college, and literally should have been like the best time of my life. And I feel like he ruined it because he was making my life miserable. Like, oh, why are you talking to that boy? Meanwhile, I'm a guy's girl. Like,
Yeah.
I have all these guy friends in college that I hang out with constantly. And he's just like on my shit 24/7. That's like the main issue with me. Like, you can't be on me 24/7. You need to have your own thing. You need to let me have my own friends, especially guy friends, because I love my guy friends. And that just like wasn't happening with him. And it got to the point where like he was commenting on what I was wearing. I feel like that's a sure tell sign. Like, do not stay with him if he's commenting on what you're wearing. Like, that's not okay.
No.
You know, so there was one specific time, like we were at a party and it was a pajama party. All the girls were like dressed in lingerie, like looking so hot. I come in like those button up long sleeve pajama shirts that like you wear to bed when you're like 5 and black leggings. And he was like, "What are you wearing?"
Oh, wait.
And
Was
I
he
was like-
upset you had too much clothes on?
He was upset that I was wearing leggings. He was upset that I was wearing.
Point right over my head.
Literally, no.
Right.
Because it would go over anybody's head. He
Yeah,
was upset
it's
that I
not
was
logical.
wearing leggings, black leggings.
Because they were tight on the bootay.
First of all, also anybody that knows me, I don't have an ass. So, like, why are you upset?
Like, he's that insecure.
There's nothing to see. Like, I literally, like, I might even post it to our story because the outfit is
do.
so absurd to be
Yes.
mad about. Like, I was so confused, and I just, like I said, when I love. So I'm like trying to figure it out. I'm like, what did I do? Like,
Yeah.
I don't understand this. So that taught me like a lot of lessons in how to stand up for myself and what I won't put up with for the most part. But then that doesn't speak to my next relationship.
This one makes me twitch. Like,
so-
actually twitch.
His name is Pennywise.
Motherfucker's a clown. That's why.
Yeah, that's
Heated right now.
I was going to say, someone fucking call him.
Yeah.
This girl down.
We might have to take Tanisha's mic away because she really doesn't like this kid. We actually met on a blind date through one of my other friends, and it was perfect. Like, the first date was awesome, so cool. And I don't typically go on blind dates, so it was kind of like a leap for me. And I did it, and the first couple of months were great. And then you kind of start seeing the signs. So it was the constant texting. Like, literally, I couldn't go out with my friends to lunch without having to text him back every 15 minutes, which I was like, you need to calm down. But that never worked out in my favor. And then also it got into like social media. Like, why are you following this guy? Why did you like his picture? I'm like, it's of his dog. What?
Wait, he would look at what you liked? Like he did
You didn't
that
know
much?
that?
No.
Yeah, he looked at what I liked, who like I was interacting with, also what I was wearing. This one.
Take the mic.
Just unplug it. Just unplug it.
It was just really toxic. I don't want to like you were saying. I don't want to go into a ton of detail
later. But yeah, I think like for me, and I think same experience. Like I'm ride or die. Like one time I went to a psychic and she was like, "Oh, honey, your man one day could be on like trial for murder, and you're gonna be his alibi. Like, and not him, not my man. Like she was like, you are Bonnie and Clyde, like, and that's totally how I am. And so you always like want to think maybe they're just going through something, maybe it'll get better, and so you stick by because you love them purely. But the way that they love you is more of an obsession and not love.
Yeah, and you hold on because of the good times. You're like, well, maybe like I can transform this person and we can only have these good times, and it's just not true. And you try and you actually end up doing more damage to your mental health than if you left.
Totally.
Because it's hard to leave. But
and
anyway.
When you finally left, it was just like the straw that broke camel's back kind of thing. Like you just couldn't take it. And you.
Exactly. Yeah. I like ended up driving home from Maine at like midnight. I think I called my brother and I think I called you, and I was just like bawling my eyes out. Like,
well, he called me and I was like, why the fuck is he calling me?
Yeah. But also like Beyonce's Lemonade album just came out, so that's what I was listening to on the way home, like to Boston. I was just like, fuck
I literally can give you guys an album for each one of Kelsey's breakups.
Yeah.
Like there's one, like there was a Rihanna album, there was a Taylor Swift album. There was for every breakup, she had one album that she would just listen to over and over and over
That
again.
Taylor Swift one got me. That was a bad breakup as well. But anyway, I digress. But anyway, like, those ones I think were like my most toxic. Other ones were great. It just didn't work out. So
all right.
anyway.
So to recap, Bill Buckner and Pennywise.
Yes.
Got it. All right,
yes.
Tanisha, you're up.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
Okay. So I have two relationships as well that stick out to me in terms of just how it ended and how I internalized them. The first one would be it's Gumby. Yeah, I always say Gumbo. It's Gumby.
You hungry?
Yeah, I know, a little bit. So I met him when I was really young. I was probably like 19, I think, and he was like 7 years older than me. And I just thought he was like the greatest thing in the entire world. And I didn't have a lot of experience in relationships, and the only relationship I saw was my parents, really, and that wasn't very functional. So going into that, I really had no idea what a relationship even was, and I think he took advantage of that, and he definitely took advantage of me and my kindness, and he had his own emotional issues. I don't even know if he's ever addressed them because I don't even fuck. He's crazy. Like, he's crazy. He really is. Like, the things he would get mad about. And, like, this one story I just have to tell. This is how, like, I don't know if this is gaslighting or just him being crazy, but we were arguing, and the thing he would always do to me is just like not answer me. And one time I was like, hello, I'm talking to you. And at the time we used to always play words with friends. You know what I'm about to say. And I was like, hello. And he's like, I'm sorry. Like, when you talk, all I can see is words with friends. Like, every word you say, I'm picturing it on the board. And I was like, fuck you, and walked away. It was just like, who says that
even mean?
You lost me. I'm so confused on what that means.
It just like, so like you see the game board and like you play words, so you put in like the word. So every word I'd say, apparently he would see it. I don't know. Exactly. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's insane.
Isn't it? I told you, motherfucker crazy.
He was.
He was crazy. And I think, so my home life wasn't that great, and I clung to him because he was like my escape, which made me stay longer than I should have, definitely. And then when I finally broke up with him, it was just like, I can breathe. Yeah. It was like the best feeling. It hurt.
It the best?
Yeah. Oh my God. It hurts like hell, but you just are like, it just feels better. So yeah, that just ended because it just wasn't healthy.
Well, I feel like he also had like the car. He had like, like the quote unquote big boy job.
Yes.
And like, it was very like, oh, you're like older. You can kind of like take care of me. It's always nice to like feel that way.
Yeah.
But he ended up being crazy.
Crazy. Oh, crazy.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. Glad that one ended. That's for sure. My next one would be PW. This one is hard. It's definitely more recent. I I definitely want to start off by saying like part of my healing process is honoring that relationship because it was so difficult. Like what we had was very real. It just, I would, without getting into like the nitty gritty, obviously, I had emotional issues that I didn't deal with. He definitely had issues that he wasn't dealing with. And it was a complete and utter lack of communication, like a communication breakdown. And so because of that, we didn't deal with a lot of the issues that were going on. And it just, we both loved each other. I mean, I think I was definitely probably more invested, honestly, in that relationship than he was in a lot of ways because I just really wanted it to work. But I had to walk away for my own mental health and honestly for his mental health too. I think we just became toxic for each other. And yeah, that was easily I will say that it was like the hardest decision I've ever made in my entire life. It was very confusing because you think love's enough and you never know. So yeah.
I feel like that situation like became like I feel like we talk about like pressure cooker all the time. Like when somebody just like builds up all of these emotions, I feel like that's what happened there. It's like it was just a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, we need to take a step back. So
Definitely.
good on you for recognizing it though, like for both of you, you know, for both of your mental health.
Yeah. That was, I definitely it's like I had to make that decision for the both of us because he wasn't in that space of breaking up, but I was just like, I'm drowning here. Like something needs to change. So,
and I think it's important too, like just because it was a bad relationship doesn't make it a bad person. Like I think that he loved you to the best of his ability, but that just wasn't like good enough and it was in a negative spot. And so I think that it's more of just recognizing like this situation's not working for me without saying anything negative on him, you know?
Yeah. And, you know, he definitely hurt me a lot, but I think it had to do with, a lot of it had to do with the issues that he had going on that he was not talking to me about, no matter how hard I tried. So,
well, that's the weird part about relationships. I just do want to say this, that like, it's like at one point you're like, okay, I put in enough time into this relationship to try to like fix things and change things. I am done. Like you're like, nope, okay, I can do another year. I can do another month. But it's
I'm like that meme. It's like, I'm only giving you 972 chances. Okay?
And I'm like the queen of forgiving and second chances. And I'm like, I just always want to see the best in people. And that's, sometimes it's like, you got to love yourself more than you love them sometimes.
It's true.
Yeah.
Well,
so yeah,
it's tough.
So that is the background.
Yes.
We're all up to speed.
We are. So I think now we wanted to get into just like, because we are going to get in more depth eventually about our specific relationships, but we thought it'd be a good idea just to ask some relationship questions and maybe give our input if anyone's interested out there. So the first question, which this is a good one. Can you be friends with your ex and is it realistic?
I think we both have the same answer.
Here's my thing. This is ambiguous and it's not really helpful, but I just think it depends on the circumstances. I think it depends on how long you guys dated and why you broke up. So it's not a universal like blanket answer. I think that for me, I would love to be friends with all but one of my exes. And I mean, like a lot of the guys that I've like, you know, hung out with, like casually dated, like I'm friends with all of them. But I think it's really difficult when you spend like, for me, 7 years with somebody, you can't just compartmentalize all of those feelings and have a friendship. You can be amicable, you can be cordial, but can you really be friends? And I think part of the moving on process is also letting go. And how does a friendship last if then, you know, you start dating other people and new relationships come into your life? Like, how do you explain that person? How would that change the friendship? I think that it takes time and it'd be nice, but usually I just don't really think it's feasible.
I don't think it switches off like that. I just don't you can't jump from one to the next. And like, I kind of tried that with Bill Buckner. I tried to like, I like called him and he gave me a dose reality. Like he was like, it's over. And I was like, oh,
ouch.
Which like I should have been dumping his ass, but he told me, and I was like, okay then. But I don't think you can switch it off. But I'm amicable with some of my exes from like back in the day, you know, like my high school ex-boyfriends.
Because it wasn't really that serious.
No. And if you didn't fuck me over, then we're good. But like if you fucked me over, I'm not talking to you. I will drag your name through the mud. What about you?
I agree. I think it's situational, especially I think it depends on how it broke up too and how you both feel. So like in a situation where like we're just going different ways, like this just isn't working. I think there could be a friendship, but like when you end a relationship, not because you didn't stop loving them, I think it makes it impossible. Because like there's no way I could be friends with some of my exes and like watch them with somebody else. They're like, oh yeah, she's pregnant, can't wait to go to the baby shower. Like, no.
Yeah. I feel like I'm the only weirdo that would be like, yo, good for you, dude.
Oh my God, it depends.
But my exes don't want to be friends with me, so it's fine. Whatever.
Okay, next question.
She's like, I call them all the time and they don't answer.
I actually have one
I left him 10 voicemails.
I tried to ask him to be my friend on Instagram and I got declined. I was like, whatever, it's fine. Good for you. I get it. Whatever. Okay, no, I'm not bitter or anything, I swear. I love you. My question for you guys is, do people deserve second chances, and are second chances worth it?
Tanisha, go ahead.
I always think people deserve second. I think it depends on like what they did. You know, if it depends on like what your threshold is, but I'm very much a second chance person. I'm not perfect. So if I did something to really hurt you, I would hope that I would be given a second chance, but that's just me.
It's hard because it's like you don't want to be a doormat
right.
and let someone walk all over you, but also you always want to assume that like, people mean what they say and have pure intentions, and so you want to give them benefit of the doubt. So I think it's like a struggle. For me, second chances have never worked out, but Miss Kelsie Walsh.
I tend to give them like 10 chances. So.
Yeah.
You have quite an interesting little story for a second chance now, don't you, honey?
Oh, God.
Oh, Tracy, I forgot.
The plumber is a second chance.
Yeah, and I never stop hearing about it. Like, I don't ever stop.
Listen, I would bug you about it till the day I die if I was him.
So I'm telling this story now? Is that what I'm doing? Can I start with a second chance thing, or should I tell the story?
Sorry, yeah, sure.
No, I can tell the
one
story.
And the same.
No, I'll tell the story. No, I just got out of the relationship with Pennywise. And so I was living my best life, going to the bar every weekend, like loving life, just honestly making out with not making out with anybody I could find, but just living the single life.
Yes, it was.
You got a pulse?
Just
You're like, come here, baby.
But the funny thing is, I didn't want to hook up with any gingers, and I am now dating a ginger. He will tell you he is strawberry blonde, but that's not true. But so I met him and literally fully love at first sight. Like it's never happened to me before. It's so corny. But I walked into the bar and I was just like, oh my God, like I love this man. Like literally didn't even talk to him. He could have just been an idiot. Yeah, we started talking. We hung out. We went on a bunch of dates. And then I decided that I wasn't ready for another relationship because I was very emotionally drained from that past relationship. And I didn't think it was fair to him or myself to just jump into another one at that time. So I ended it and he was so mad. He was so mad. I still hear about it to this day. But then I actually was over at my friend's house and he walked in and I was just like, what did I do? This was a mistake. I need to text him. We need to go to lunch. He was like very reluctant.
So it had not been something that crossed your mind, but it was like once you saw him, you just instantly knew.
It had, but I had been very upfront and been like, hey, I'm still recovering. I don't know how I feel about like getting into something serious. And that's when he like was like, okay, like, and like kind of was like, screw you.
Yeah. I don't think you did anything wrong though. I don't know if I would qualify that as like a second chance. I think you were being very emotionally responsible for yourself.
It wasn't
him.
I wouldn't call it a chance. It was like I was still recovering and like he was always in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
But like I'm not gonna get into my relationship with you and take my emotions out on you. That's just not something I'm willing to do.
Yeah.
But when it does come to second chances, I do think it's circumstantial. Like are there kids involved? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a weird thing.
The kids. Forgot about the kids.
I don't know.
I have anxiety about that.
Yeah. I don't know. It depends. Like I say that I wouldn't, but I don't know until I'm in that situation.
I think that's a good way to put it. I think that's a good answer. You don't know until you're in it.
You can know. You can think you know.
Yeah.
But you don't know. You didn't know any of the stuff that you got into with your other relationships.
This is very
and that you
true.
put up with. So it's like,
Yeah.
you know. But anyway, sorry, that was a little long-winded.
No, it's good.
I have my question, which is, how does social media affect relationships, and are relationships like appropriately, what's the word I'm looking for? Are they accurately portrayed through social media?
That's a good question.
You take it away first.
We both opened our mouths. I think social media can definitely affect your relationship if it's not a secure relationship. Like the foundation has to be good, because you can get very caught up, and communication needs to be open. So if you're upset about something that like maybe he likes something, like you need to feel okay enough to be like, hey, I didn't like that. And
Yeah, but you did.
what's that?
I didn't like that, but you did. 'Cause you
Yeah, I
liked
know.
the
I did.
picture.
Oh, yeah.
You get it?
Sorry.
But dad jokes, dad jokes.
I think it can definitely, yeah. And then there's also the other side of like being worried about what they're doing on social media behind your back. So you definitely just need to be secure in your relationship. And if you have questions that they might be doing that, maybe you should like reevaluate the relationship.
Can you just imagine though that didn't exist like 10 years ago? I would like, can I be in a relationship in the 90s?
You don't.
Not Instagram.
Like
Yes.
DMing existed
Instagram did?
in like the 50s.
10 years ago is the 50s.
Oh, you said 10 years ago? Oh, I didn't hear 10 years ago.
Someone come get her.
All I heard was years ago. That's why I was like, oh, like the 50s?
No, I wasn't on Instagram like frequently.
Oh.
Like, I guess you could send DMs via.
Well, yeah, I feel like when we were 20 years old, there was Instagram, there was Facebook.
You could poke people on me.
But yeah, I think
Don't get me started.
Who is this bitch poking you?
that is so cringy.
I'm the only one that pokes you. Anyway, what about you, Trace?
I think that, I think social media offers a lot of temptation. So I think it can put some couples to the test depending on, I think, how strong they are and how committed they are to their relationship. It opens up a lot of doors, to your point, that like people didn't have years ago. But I think otherwise it should be, it shouldn't be a problem for the most part, if you guys are both there for the right reasons.
I agree.
Like we're on The Bachelor or something. Are you there for the right reasons?
Yeah.
I know.
But I think that in terms of how social media portrays relationships, it's just gag worthy, man. I don't know. Like, I mean, my last Voldemort would not allow me to post him on social media for a slew of reasons.
Sure, tell sign.
But
Holy
even
red
if I
flag.
did post a guy on social media, I would, like, my captions are like Drake quotes and Ariana Grande lyrics. Like, I'm not going to be the girl that's like, I love you so much, my cute little snuggly wuggly bear. Happy 4-year anniversary.
Okay.
Can't wait to do forever. Like,
The worst
that-
is the 6-month anniversary post. Like, what the hell you been through in 6 months that you need to post about?
I would never like be like that. And if some people are genuinely like that, then good for them. But a lot of it, I think for me, sometimes it's like hard to buy.
Well, social media isn't
Yeah.
real life. It's like literally what is the best of your life. So I actually saw, I think I was telling you guys last night that I saw this like graphic. I don't know. It's a part of some group that's like relationship abuse, verbal, physical, whatever. But it was a picture of a couple and it was like an Instagram picture of them like posing and like being cute. They're in love and there's this caption or whatever. And he was like twisting her arm
I've seen
behind
that
her
one.
back to be like, what you see is not what is reality. And that's not the case for everybody. That's an extreme, but like it's true.
Yeah, I think just keeping that in mind.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
I'm not sitting here trying to hate on anyone who posts genuine and authentic things about their significant other. But I think just like it's the highlight reel. And that goes for
Absolutely.
every damn selfie you post of yourself and the couple's photos as well. Like you just really don't know. So just
I know, I
take
really
it all
came-
with a little grain of salt, you know?
Yeah, whether you have a filter on the photo or not, that is filtered in some sense.
Yeah.
Like whether it be like what the situation is or like the lovey-doveyness of it all.
Yeah.
I'm just not a lovey-dovey person. I like post Ryan every once in a while. I mean, the plumber
The
every
plumber.
once in a while, but
Yeah.
like I just can't. it's just not in me to be over the top, but to each his own.
I really came for those 6-month people. Sorry. I don't know why. Because I think I saw a post this one time.
6 months.
I saw chocolates.
I saw this one post and it was like, we've been through so much. And I was like, in 6 months?
You don't know their story.
I know. I got a little judgy there. Sorry, 6-monthers.
Okay.
I am a 6-monther, so that's actually called myself out a little bit there. But I haven't posted, so it's fine. Next question. This one, what?
That was a lie.
Yeah, that was a blatant lie.
I didn't post like a happy 6 months.
No. Oh, yeah. But you have posted him.
Oh, yeah. But I haven't been like, we've been through so much. Happy sweet month. 6 months.
Happy sweet months.
Happy sweet
Yeah, I was thinking sweet
All
prince.
right, let's get the show on the road.
Yeah.
So next question. I like this question. Mm-hmm. What does love mean to you, and what is your definition of love?
Who wants to go first?
This is deeper than my emotional capacity, so if you could answer first.
I got this. Okay. I think the definition of love is just, I don't know, unconditionally giving yourself to someone even though it's uncomfortable. I don't know how to explain that. Like, I feel like I had a really hard time like showing my true colors and like being like, I am mad about this, or like I'm upset about this, or like I am texting him too much. Like coming out of those relationships, I thought of that stuff. I was like, oh, I'm texting him way too much. I shouldn't be mad about this because then he's going to be mad. He's going to think I'm over the top. Like, no, true love doesn't see that and like accepts you for who you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah. I think that's funny that you said that, because the only thing that was coming to my mind was love is choosing somebody, I think, because of their flaws and not in spite of them.
Yep. I love that.
And just like unconditional loyalty and partnership.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. I like that.
Thank you. I had to brace myself before the words could come out.
She's like, she's like,
I have like a little vomit in the throat that I'm still trying to solve.
I can't. Do you have an answer?
There's actually this song by Rum Gold called Call It What You Want. In the beginning of the song, it goes, I don't know who I am. All I know is that I am yours, and I don't want you to leave, but for you, I'd open every door.
Aww.
And that song always just like, I heard that song and it just like really stuck with me, because I genuinely think love is selfless in that way. It's like, I love you so much that I just want you to be happy, whether it's with me or whether it's not with me, and wherever your life takes you. Like,
Yeah.
I just, it's a very, I think love is selfless,
I agree.
healthy selfless.
Yeah. And I feel like you recognize your own flaws and you like accept them because you know that person has your back instead of like being defensive. Because like, I think everybody can get like that and be like, what are you talking about? Like, no, I'm perfect.
100%.
You're like, oh, I should work on that. And I want to work on that for you.
Yeah.
And I want to better myself for you. So
And not feeling like you need to control them or like make them be who you want them to be or anything like that. I think that's just how I view love.
I agree.
that.
And I mean, I think we touched upon this slightly, but do you guys think that love is enough? I think that ties into everything we were talking about through second chances and all that jazz.
Unfortunately not.
I think only to an extent. I
Yeah.
think it can get you through something for a while, but not forever.
I agree.
I have a fun question.
Mm-hmm.
It's a would you rather. Would you rather have a genuine, true love once in your life, knowing that it would not last forever, that it would only be a short period of time, or never experience love at all?
You're both looking at me. So
You go.
I would say experience that one true love at least once in your life, to know what that feels like, because it's such an amazing feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think I would want it, even though it's like hell when it ends, but that's my answer.
Good answer.
I agree, because I think that even having a love for your whole life is short. I don't know. And you have to eventually lose them. I know I'm getting deep here, but like you do eventually have to lose them or you die first, which like, can I die first?
Whoa.
I would like to die first. I'm just saying. I like to put
Put
that
in your request now.
You literally tell
Hey,
Plumber
man,
that.
upstairs.
I do. I tell Plumber it all the time. I'm like, please, like, put that cigarette down because you're not dying before me.
God
Like,
damn it.
I'm dying. But anyway, what about you, Trace?
No, miss me with that. Miss me with that shit.
She goes, nah.
It's gonna be a no from me, dog.
I love it.
I just feel like I would rather, like, you have to like live every single day in that, knowing that it's not gonna last or like it's not gonna go somewhere, and then afterwards, your entire rest of your life is like you'll never get that again. I would just rather not know what it's like.
I get that side of it too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get that
Which
too.
is sad and morbid, but you know, my ice
I
cold
mean,
heart.
I just said I wanted to die first.
Self-preservation is what that is right
yeah,
there.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, last question for you guys before we wrap things up is outside of the obvious, like moving on, watching them be with somebody else. What is the hardest part, or what maybe even like specifically a relationship that you guys had of a breakup for you?
Losing your best friend.
Like one person you go to all the time for everything.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
after I broke up with PW, it literally felt like I lost a limb. Like he was my person. So losing it, that was the hardest part. Like when I got sick, I want to call him and I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
And it's that part of it is really hard.
Yeah, I think it's jarring to like lose the communication with them because you go from like texting this person every day to being
Yeah.
like, oh, I have to send a boundary now and I can't literally reach out to them at all.
Yeah.
It's like a very lonely feeling. Like, yeah, you have your girlfriends and everything, but it's so jarring, I think, and difficult. What
I
about
agree.
you?
Mine is breaking up with the family.
Oh my God, yes. That's a good
true.
one.
For me, with Nemo, I mean, we dated for 7 years. His parents were my second set of parents. His sisters were my sisters. Like, I watched his little sister get her license, go to her first prom, have her first boyfriend. Her and I were so close. And his mom is one of 8 siblings. So he has like aunts, uncles, cousins, second cousins. I mean, I was at weddings. I watched people get born. I was in their lives from day one, and then all of a sudden you're not.
Yeah.
And, you mentally prepare to break up with that person. Not that that is easy either, but I think like you can justify why the relationship isn't working out, but it's really hard to wrap your head around losing their family too, because you love them just as much. And there was no reason why that didn't work out. You know,
It leaves a hole.
So true. That was hard with PW, was his family.
very hard.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then you think like, what do they think of me?
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And I'm
totally.
like, I never got to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
the worst. That's the worst part.
But that's another boundary that you need to set. It's like, I literally can't. I definitely post breakup have texted my ex's parents and been like, hey, like, love you guys, like whatever. It's kind of like a way of closure for me too. I think that sometimes it's necessary. So
Yeah, I agree.
but anywho, so we told you guys to let us know if you have any questions, any thoughts, to kind of reach out to us through social. And we have gotten a few DMs and there have been a few thoughts and questions. So we decided to come up with a little, I don't know if you'd call it a segment. What would you call it?
I would call it a segment.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I got it.
A little segment.
That's only because I'm on the spot and I have nothing else going on.
You guys will get it when I say it. But anyway, we're going to call it Dear TFS. And it's similar to a Dear Abby kind of write-in. So I don't know if anybody's familiar. I don't know if I'm aging myself. Hopefully not, because this is a show about being 30. But Dear Abby was, a newspaper article where people would write in with their thoughts and problems, and she would write back in the newspaper to give her thoughts and her opinions on said problems. So
now we've just appointed ourselves Abby, and we're here to share our humble opinions because we know everyone
everything.
wants to know.
because we know everything. So we actually, just so you know,
We are Yoda.
we are oracles. The 3 oracles. Now all I can think of is like the oracles at the top of 300 who were like,
I
old
know,
and,
when he gets like
disgusting.
licked. Oh,
Anyway.
sorry.
So we did.
Sidetrack.
So we did get our first one, and I am going to read it off the paper here because we pulled it from our Instagram account. So today's question is, Dear TFS, I have anxiety and it's something I have been dealing with for years. I am recently in a new relationship and my current boyfriend doesn't suffer from mental health issues like I do. So it's hard for him to understand how my anxiety affects me and it's causing some tension between us. How would you recommend I navigate a productive conversation with him so we can continue to move forward?
That's a good question. I'm literally dealing with that one right now, so I get that.
Then take the floor.
So what I've been trying to do, first step, I think would be knowing how your anxiety manifests in you. So that way you can tell them, you know, because when they don't understand it, they don't even get like how it feels. And it's hard to describe how it feels, but you can kind of say like, when I'm anxious, I get like irritable or I shut down or X, Y, and Z. So that way they get an idea of like, she's irritable. Okay.
So
maybe.
rather than trying to make them understand what the feeling of anxiousness is like, having them recognize the behavior so they can understand that that's maybe something you're currently going through.
Yeah. Because you can't explain something like that. You can't, it's just hard. Like I've tried my best to explain it to Sweet Prince, but it's just, I don't know how. If you don't feel it, you don't get it.
Yeah, if you don't go through it, you don't understand. And literally, I will say the worst thing that anybody can say to anyone who's anxious or depressed is, you know, just be happy.
Oh.
I'm like, oh.
Or just stop worrying about it.
Yeah, no, it's just not that easy. And like I went through something similar with the plumber where literally that's what he was saying, because I think that it is nice to help them understand, like you're saying, because they feel so lost. They're like, I'm your person. I should make you happy. Why aren't you happy? Because I'm here. Yeah. I'm supporting you. It's like, it's bigger than you. It's just bigger.
And you don't even know where it comes from. Like the actual definition of anxiety is your body thinks there's danger, so it goes into fight or flight mode. And the problem with when you have anxiety issues is that even though there's no danger, you think you are. So it just comes on like out of nowhere. So I think definitely taking the time to understand your own anxiety is the first step, because then you can find a better way to speak with them and maybe help them understand it. But like taking that time for yourself, it's self-reflection.
Very important. Yeah, because I mean, I feel like there have been moments where I'm like outside of myself and I'm like, I literally don't even like me right now, but I can't help it. Like I feel like these words are just spilling out of my mouth and I can't help it. So definitely taking the time to explain it and like let them know that patience is key. Like you have to be patient with somebody that's anxious and depressed or both, you know.
Communication. I think it's good whoever like saying that you want to have a productive conversation, because I think communicating is extremely important in this situation.
Agreed.
So
yeah. Well, that's it. And you can email us, DM us if you guys have questions. We are going to be ending each segment weekly.
Each episode with this segment.
We are going to be ending each episode weekly with the TFS, Dear TFS segment. So please feel free to DM us any questions that you have or you want answered, or anything that you're struggling with, because let's be real, we all go through it. And sometimes it's just nice to have an outsider's perspective. And we will absolutely not disclose any names. Yes. So just know that. But yeah.
So yeah. Well, girls,
that's it.
Another one down.
Another one bites the dust.
Hey.
The people aren't here for that. Okay.
That's true. That's true. So yeah, please like, follow, subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram at 30 Flirty Surviving Podcast, or you can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or iHeart. So yeah, tune on in, guys.
We look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes, definitely.
Bye.
See you later.